How's it going, everyone? What you're going to see is a combination type review video. It'll be a review of the map Guilin Peaks, I think that's how it's pronounced, from the new China Rising DLC that just came out for Battlefield 4. And what you'll also see is the assault rifle in question there called the L85A2 that just came out with the same DLC as well. And you'll see a review of both. The reason wing I usually break them down in separate videos, but that I got a good gameplay with this assault rifle in this infantry style based map all at the same time, so I said why not review both. I just came out of a cave there, which is actually a really central key point to the map, and I'll explain more as I go. You'll see more footage of it as well. But basically this map here, the first thing that stick out to you is it's a jungle based map, and it's really pretty. At least to me it is anyway. There's no armor in it as well. There's transport choppers, there's quads, and there's dirt bikes, and that's basically, besides walking, the only forms of transportation you're going to have on this map. You'll notice since it's jungle based, like I said, using camo that's jungle or, green, I guess as the simplistic way of putting it, will give you a really good element of surprise on most enemies. And I find, because there's a lot of head glitch spots, there's a lot of pretty decent head level cover, and basically just because the fact that a lot of enemies can use the leaves in the trees to camo themselves up pretty well, it's actually pretty hard to get consistent kills and consistently find enemies. You have to take your time and be patient. This point here, this almost trailer-like structure that I'm trying to get into, what's currently occupied, is a central point in the map. And that actually is a new feature that came with this DLC called the Bomber. Basically what it is, when you actually get in it, because I've only been in it once and I couldn't show footage of it here, but I'll probably do a separate video of it in the future. When you actually get in it, it'll say Bomber Active. And basically what you do is, you're in a bomber, and you start off from outside of the map, sort of doing an overhead pass into the map. What you do is you set like 3 or 4 points of designations of bombings onto a particular area, and you hope to either clear an area out or get a kill. And there's even an assignment based on getting the kill. The thing about it, I can say definitively quickly, is the blast radius isn't very large on it, so it's not like a stealth bomber where it just bombs an entire line of you going over. It's you set 4 designation points and it blows that area up and anything around it. But I mean, I've survived being hit by an explosion in the area. It dropped me down to maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10 health, but I did survive. So the blast radius isn't incredible on it, and it doesn't at least seem overpowered in the limited time I've had with it, but that opinion could change. What I probably should have done at the start, but I'll do right now, is at least in Conquest Large, there's 7 designated flags, and since this map is basically a circular island surrounded by lakes, basically there's the 7 flags that you can continually try and fight for the whole time, and there's more cave footage, and I'll explain why this is important in a minute. There's 7 different flags, 3 on one side of the island, 3 on the next side of the island, and 1 in the middle where the peak is, the mountain. In the mountain, which I'm currently in here, are all sorts of these cave-like features, which is a really interesting map design, and I find it to be a lot of fun to play in it. This is probably my favorite map of the DLCs. You fight for that, it's basically, ideally, you fight for those your 3 flags on your side and the middle one to maintain the monopoly over the flags. But of course, it doesn't always go that way. Because it's shaped in a circle, you might give up 1 flag on your side, but you can take the attack chopper, go over to the enemy's side, and take those flags yourself. So it's basically, it's a basic fight the entire time for the outside perimeter flags. Although most of the time I've noticed in my limited time of playing it, it's a fight for that interior flag a lot of the time through the tunnels. But that's the basic premise of it. There's so many flank angles, and this map's a really infantry-based map, and it's a lot of fun. Now to break down basically what you've been watching of me getting kills with the L85A2, this is the assault rifle introduced with the DLC, and I've been a huge fan of it to this point. I'll break down some stats on it from the battle log, because there aren't a lot on Synthic. You have to complete the assignment called Open Fire, which you have to get 3 assault ribbons, not necessarily in all one round, but 3 assault ribbons. Now what you have to do is get a kill with a pistol, a 40mm grenade, and a defibrillator in 1 round. Those 3 you have to get in 1 round. The easiest way I found to do it, the way I got it in my first round of playing, was to play in Domination and just flank behind where one of the spawn points was, fully charge my defibrillator, and then just hit a guy in the back, and it just, well, it shocks him to death. It works pretty well, and that would be my advice. You could go to Conquest or Rush and sneak up and do the same, but basically the basic premise I'm trying to say is flank them, defibrillate them fully charged, you'll get the gun. Well, ideal if you get the other sections filled out. This gun's damage is about, well, compared to the other Battlelog guns, it's 30, which puts it on par with everything pretty much except for the Scar H. Its accuracy, its hipfire, its range, and its stability are all pretty much the same as well. But the one thing that this has going for it is an 800 round rate of fire. But if you fire in 2 to 3 round bursts with this gun, it can give you short, medium, and long range capabilities. So it's one of those jack of all trade guns where you can, as long as you're a good shot, dominate in any range. It's a fantastic gun. 30 round magazine size. It fires a 5.56 by 45 NATO round. And I'll quickly break down what I typically use with it. I use the red dot sight for pretty much everything. The laser sight for hip fire encounters. And I actually use, as of right now, the muzzle brake. The reason I like using the muzzle brake is obviously, like I said, it does give a 30% penalty to automatic fire, but it reduces muzzle climb, and as long as you fire in bursts, this thing is a laser beam with an 800 meter fire rate. You can use the heavy barrel if you choose, that's fine. The underbarrel I always usually go with is the ergonomic grip for the most part, because it actually gives you a 50% increase in hip fire accuracy, and it doesn't really affect anything to do with movement, because if you notice, when I'm moving around a lot in this gameplay, or when I'm engaging in shooting at people, I'm not completely stationary a lot of the time, and it helps to have a grip that's not going to penalize me for that. Because ideally what you probably should do is, completely stay still when you take aim, because that way your accuracy is at its most you're at your most accurate when you're stationary. But you see, I still move around a lot. It makes me a definite harder target, and this helps me to keep that accuracy without being penalized. This is a fantastic gun in my opinion. It'll definitely be up there with the Scar H and the Ace 23. And you'll notice, for the most part, I am a chronic reloader. I'll reload no matter what, given the circumstances. That's a flaw I'm trying to work out of my game to make me better. But other than that, yes, this map is really nice, and this gun is fantastic, and in combination I had a good round here, and I think you guys will too. Hope you enjoyed both reviews, and any opinions you have on it, post in the comments. See you later.